I hear that we are romanticizing our life, and this is truly my time to shine as a New York City girly and also a mom of two. And I want to share with you some things that I do to romanticize my life living here in New York City, where I am taking my time being more intentional and not buying into the hustle and bustle that this city demands every single day. I have an entire list, and let me know if you want like a part two, because I've lived in New York City for now 5 years, and I've lived in every single borough that matters. So sorry, Staten Island. But let's get right into it. My first one is taking the bus over the subway. So when I am on the bus, I really romanticize the commute. Like earlier today, I was around my local neighborhood, and because of summer streets, Broadway was like completely shut down. So everything that I did, I had to walk to. And when I did catch the bus back to my area of the city, I romanticized the ride. I wasn't on my phone. I was listening to a podcast, Emma Greed's podcast, with the queen of chic herself, Duchess Megan Sussex. And I was just enjoying looking out the window and looking at all the people enjoying the summer streets. But I also love to bring this cutie notebook with me whenever I'm riding the bus, and I like to write my thoughts down. I always have a pen. I feel like every woman in her grown and chic, classy era, you need a notebook, you need a pen, you need to carry it with you. And I also usually have a book, and I just like to look out the window and look around. Like, I get to live in New York City, and this is an immense privilege and an opportunity that I know a lot of people around the world would want to do. So I like to do that by taking the bus over the subway. Plus, the subway recently here in New York City, there's no air conditioning, and I'm sorry, I don't want my makeup to completely like melt off my face and have sweat stains, so I just don't buy into the subway. Now, the next thing is I use my Metro card. Now, you know, if you're in New York City, the Metro card is expiring in December. Like, literally nobody asks for that. And Omni has not been the most reliable, so I have dedicated myself to romanticizing living in New York City, taking pictures of my Metro card around the city in my camera roll. And I think I'm gonna do a scrapbook and really get into my creative, like artsy, craftsy side that has been lying dormant. Because, you know, if you have kids, and especially like since, you know, everything that happened in 2020, a lot of us stay-at-home moms are still trying to like find our bearings, and my kids are heading back to school this fall, so this is definitely something that I'm looking forward to doing, and I'll bring you girlies along. I see a new series coming with the Metro card. Now, the next thing that I have in the things that I do to romanticize my life in New York City is I get to know my neighbors. I live in a building in an area, I said it a few times on this TikTok account, that is heavily Hispanic and Latino, and one of my kids has half Dominican heritage. So getting to know my neighbors, and especially when one of my children wears their Dominican Republic shirt that I got them, it definitely is a conversation starter, and we get to learn more about one of my child's heritage. And by doing so, and like just having conversations with people instead of just rushing out the door to my building and like rushing, you know, on the way to the subways going like, hey, like, how are you? Or if I see someone new, you know, I'm like, hey, like, I live on such and such floor, like, what floor do you live on, you know? How long have you been in the building? And I think when you form a bond with the people in your building, you will start to have a sense of community. Like, there was one time there was this really bad electrical like fire on our whole block, and the entire building came together. I was so scared. I thought the building was going to collapse, and I knocked on all of my neighbors' doors, and I ended up having to carry one of my next door neighbor's heavy son, and she was like, he's very heavy, but I was like, you can't carry your newborn in a stroller and this heavy toddler. And I was like, it's fine, my one of my kids was a very, very big and heavy toddler, so I get it. And I think in moments like that, that is why you you need to get to know your neighbors for sure. Also, I live in a new building and I love how intentional all of my neighbors are to get to know their names and like where they live and help one another out. And something that I've been doing too is just like giving back to some of my neighbors that have been going through tough times, because this is a really, really tough industry and a job market. And something that I've been doing is like leaving out free fresh food every single week. Now, the next thing that I do to romanticize my life in New York City is I visit a new borough each week. I think it's incredibly classless and quite ignorant to say that, oh, I just live in Manhattan and I don't go anywhere else, or, you know, I don't go above 14th Street. Like, are you okay? It's New York City. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're here to have a diverse experience. This is quite literally a melting pot. So one of the ways that I like to romanticize living here in New York City is I go to a new borough each week. Now, I'm so sorry, Staten Island. I am so like where I live in New York City. I'm sorry, you're literally, it's like a day trip. It's like a day trip, but I like to visit every borough on a regular, like, rotating basis. And comment down below if you would like to see that. I see a new series, because I think you can be a creature of habit and just stay in your borough, because everything you need is in your borough. Every borough has a mall, every borough has a Target, every borough has the Burlington TJ Maxx, okay? Every borough has luxury shopping now, you know what I'm saying? So, but it's very easy to stay in your local area and even run errands in your local area. So I like to go to a new borough every single week. Now, the next thing that I like to do to romanticize my life living in New York City is participate in summer streets. So this was the first summer streets I participated in, and I kind of had no choice because the local bus was not running on Broadway. So I have never walked all the way up Broadway before. That was an experience. I was huffing and puffing, but it was enjoyable walking on the street and, you know, and hearing other people's conversations and just being in a community. Also, it was really heartwarming to see, you know, like the people of the neighborhood, like the local nail shops, the local hair salons, you know, everybody is out and they're all enjoying it. So if you haven't had a chance to do summer streets, I think you have like one more weekend, I believe, one more weekend. Definitely make sure that you do that. And then the last thing that I do to romanticize my life living here in New York City is go visit my local public library. Now, if you're new here, I'm a librarian. Currently, I'm a concierge librarian. What that means is I help women who want to have like monthly curriculums, which is trending on TikTok, or self-study plans, and even self-research plans. I started out doing this with graduate students that are ladies that, you know, need a concierge librarian and need help with that. And I've expanded it to include other women, because other women found like, hey, oh, you're a librarian, like, can you help me create a curriculum and like a study plan? And that's what I do as a concierge librarian. And I just onboarded 2 new ladies into my service each month, and one is interested in astronomy, and I am devising a curriculum plan complete with homework assignments, capstone projects, and research as well. And my other new client is interested in interior design, and I'm excited to do that. Now, when you have a public library card, like if you have a concierge librarian service or not, you can go to your public library and you can ask the librarian for recommendations. You can say, hey, I saw this trend on TikTok. Chances are they know what you're talking about, because as a trained information scientist and a researcher, we know how to look up so many things. And also, I think a lot of people have a misconception that because it's New York Public Library or Brooklyn Public Library or Queens or wherever, that they are fine, they're doing fine, they don't need your support, when in actuality, they actually need your support. Personally, I've been recruited by New York Public Library and other public library systems in the tri-state area every single year, but the timing wasn't right. I was still homeschooling, I was figuring things out, or I was even moving around. But going through the hiring process and the initial hiring process and even the offer stage, these companies and these institutions, they're not doing so well. They're